order. Councilor Beazall, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please conduct the roll call?
President Kushmerek.
Present.
Councilor Bean.
Here.
Councilor Boschman.
Present.
Councilor Beazall.
Present.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Councilor Di Natale. Councilor Donnelly. Here. Councilor Green.
Present.
Councilor Joseph. Councilor Caddy.
Here.
Councilor Tran.
Here.
Public forum. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter on the agenda may do so for not more than 2 minutes. If you are addressing a public hearing petition, you will have an opportunity to speak at that time. Please approach the center table and identify yourself by name and address for the record and the item number on the agenda to which you are speaking. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Councilors. Ernie Martineau, Chief of Police, City of Fitchburg. Good evening, Councilors. I'm here to address number 246-16. It's a petition that I filed this week with the clerk's office regarding the flow of traffic on Putnam Street. During the first day of implementation of one-lane Main Street, we were out there monitoring traffic, and the light at the corner of Main and Oliver was on cycle, meaning red to green, back and forth. And the first thing we noticed was a significant backup because of that light. When I saw that that evening, I ordered that light to be placed on flash instead of on cycle. Immediately, that alleviated a lot of the backup, and it had a great effect to it. However, when I did that, I noticed there was a public safety concern with traffic that was flowing northerly up Putnam Street trying to turn onto Main Street. Because of that concern, I immediately closed down traffic in the northerly lane of Putnam Street. However, I understand that I can only do that on a very short-lived temporary basis for public safety. And with the assistance of Clerk Farrell, I discovered that under our city ordinance, under Chapter 169, Section 3, the City Council has the authority to place a temporary restriction on the flow of traffic, thus the petition here tonight. I hope you can support it. I think it's important for public safety, especially during this test phase of one-way Main Street. If we revert back to 2 lanes, obviously I have no issue with putting the light back onto its regular cycle and going back to 2 ways at that point. But I would hope the City Council could find a way to support this petition. Thank you.
Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
I have a motion and second to suspend the rules on 246-16. Speaking to the motion, Councilor Caddy.
I'll wait till it comes up for a vote.
Councilor Boschman.
We have a trouble on Putnam Street. What about Oliver Street?
It's the same theory. Cars really never turned from Main onto Oliver. So to keep the flow of traffic moving that direction, that's why I closed down both those streets. The more important way is coming up Putnam onto Main, because your line of sight up Main Street is greatly impacted. And with the light on flash, the traffic's flowing smoothly, but you have cars that are really nudging out into traffic. So I was concerned about, number one, a motor vehicle accident, and number two, more significantly, a pedestrian accident.
The reason why I asked that, I was on Oliver Street because I had to stop down a police station. And I got to the lights. And then I had to edge out easily. And on your left-hand side where they get the fancy grass growing tall, you have a hard time seeing. So you got to keep on edging out.
That
And you're also in the crosswalk, and people can now walk through.
the grass was a concern. We addressed that. We did speak to Commissioner Laxo, and they're going to take care of that grass. Yeah, I already did. Thank you, Mayor. So that concern has been addressed.
All right.
Councilor Caddy.
Chief, I don't know if I included you on the email, but Ted Lapis building, where the local spot is,
Yes.
I was talking to him, and he has an issue with deliveries now. And if we could turn Putnam Street back to 1 lane or 1 direction, is it possible to get a loading zone on as close to Main Street as possible for him, and then also include the 3 parking places that were lost there when it went to 2 lanes? It worked before well. I don't see why it couldn't work again.
No, I agree. It did work well for many years, having just one lane of travel on Putnam with parking that supplied the bowling alley and parking that supplied Rollstone Coin on the other side of the street. Loading zones do fall under my jurisdiction. I'd hate to give you an answer tonight live in front of the city council, but it's something that I would give great consideration, because we have taken away some of that loading opportunities for those businesses in that stretch of Main Street. So this may be a great opportunity, but keep in mind, this request is this is temporary. If we decide we're going to stay this route, I would probably petition the city council that we revert Putnam Street to one lane permanently to accommodate Main Street. If things change, we may go back to two ways. So whatever, if this petition's granted, whatever I decide with a loading zone will be temporary in nature with this study that we're doing now.
Sure.
I would just ask you to send me a request, and then I would answer it in that fashion.
Okay, thank you.
Council Caddy, I'd be happy to work with you as well if we need to file a petition for that area to do so. I'd also ask if and when it appropriate that we just reword this from during the Main Street experiment until for the duration that Main Street remain a one lane. So Councilor Beazle, you were next.
Thank you. Through you to the city solicitor, I was actually looking at that, and where it says during Main Street experiment, I think that needs to be taken out because according to 169-3, any such experimental rule regulating traffic shall remain in effect for a period of not longer than 90 days. So I don't want to confuse saying that Main Street was an experiment for 90 days with what we're trying to do here. I think it's great that we're trying to look at all the issues as they come up and we're addressing them. But I just think that we need to maybe strike out the word experiment after Main Street so that it doesn't look as if we're have a 90-day experiment on Main Street.
So I have a motion and second on the floor to suspend the rules on 246-16. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Motion to approve 246-16.
I have a motion and second to approve 246-16. Speaking to the motion, Councilor Beazle.
Yeah, if we could, I'd like to amend that to take out during the Main Street experiment, so that it reads, traffic flow on Putnam and all of the streets in the city of Fitchburg, traffic on Putnam Street shall be reduced to southerly traffic only. I don't think we need during the Main Street experiment in there.
Change my motion to exclude the Main Street experiment.
In a second. All right. I have a motion and second on the floor to approve 246-16 as amended to read Chief Ernest F. Martineau, Chief of Police, to petition for a change of traffic flow on Putnam and Oliver Streets and the city of Fitchburg. Traffic on Putnam Street shall be reduced to southerly traffic only. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion is granted.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank
Public forum. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Mr. Brooks, good evening.
My name's Calvin Brooks. I'm the tax collector treasurer for the city of Fitchburg, and I'm want to speak on item numbers 243-16 and 244-16. If you recall, at the last meeting, there were 8 parcels from our side yard sales program that the side yard sales committee had recommended for sale. These are 2 more from the original 10 that we were working on, and these are 2 properties that we have in single applicants who wanted them, and we reviewed the information, and the side yard sales committee recommended that they be sold to those 2 applicants. And these are just orders to authorize the sale and to ask the mayor to sign. So I guess I'm asking if it's something that the council would be willing to act on tonight so we can just settle the matter.
Move suspension of rules for 243 and 244.
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 243 and 244-16. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is before you.
Will the ordinance be adopted?
Second.
I have a motion and second to adopt 243 and 244-16. Speaking to the motion, Counsel Green.
Mr. Brooks, are those applicants, are those abutters to each of these properties?
Yes, there.
Okay, so that program is working then, in fact, where we're taking land of low value and allowing the abutters to make use of that for more land or parking. And then, in fact, these deeds will then be combined into their single deed, correct?
Correct. When they sell, if they sell the property that has the house on it, this land will be included with that sale
Okay, thank you.
going forward.
I have a motion and second to adopt 243 and 244-16. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Good evening, Chief Roy.
Good evening, councilors. Councilors, I just also would like to have consideration of suspension on the rules tonight during finance, during the orders for 24116. This is an order for $25,000. It's to replace our hot water system at 33 North Street headquarters. The system has been leaking badly for a couple of weeks. It's 17 years old. It's the original system. We've worked closely with the purchasing office, who's been great over the last couple of weeks to get this bid out and awarded, but we cannot go any further. My fear is, number one, that it's leaking. We actually have sandbags. I think all of you have been in the community room downstairs. This room is located very close to that, and my fear is that the tank lets go, floods, and leaves us without hot water in a building that's occupied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Motion to suspend the rules on 241-16.
Second.
I have a motion and second to suspend the rules on 241-16. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Will the order be adopted?
Second.
I have a motion and second to adopt 241-16. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion
Thank you,
carries.
councilors.
Thank you, Chief. Turning to the public forum, is there anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none. Ask for a report from the Committee on Records. Councilor Donnelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. We reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
Will the records committee be approved?
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept the report from the Committee on Records. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Communications from His Honor the Mayor. We have several appointment letters before us this evening. Energy Commission, Mr. Keith L. Pendergast, term to expire April 1st, 2019.
Appointments.
And 4 for the Fitchburg Cultural Council, Mrs. Nancy Karras, term to expire September 2nd, 2019. Mr. James B. Cragen, term to expire September 2nd, 2019. Mr. Jeff Warmoth, term to expire September 2nd, 2019. And Mr. Joseph S. Bowen, term to expire September 2nd, 2019.
Appointments.
Appointments. Now move to a report from the Appointments Committee. Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had the Appointments Committee met earlier this evening, and there were 3 votes to look at tonight, all of them having to do with the Disability Commission. For us, we had the term to expire February 1st, 2019, Ms. Kathleen M. Hemelin, 497 Townsend Street in the city. Number 2, term to expire February 1st, 2019, Attorney Nicholas J. Carboni, 245 River Street, Fitchburg. And finally, term to expire February 1st, 2019, Ms. Carolyn J. Quirk, 385 Pearl Hill Road in Fitchburg. All 3 were unanimous 5-0 votes.
Will the committee's report be accepted?
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept the Appointments Committee report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Public Works Committee oral report. Councilor Caddy.
Public Works met on September 29th. We had 10 petitions. The first petition, 18115, Council Mike Kushmarek, to increase the height of a city-owned fence on Blossom Street between the intersections of Elm and Mechanic Street. That was held in committee. 20715, Kenneth J. Mattson, President, to accept Downey Circle located within the Parker Hill subdivision as a public way. That was granted 4-0. 18616, Mr. David Duval of 100 Falula Street to properly reconstruct Falula Street from 135 Falula Street to Benson Street. That was given leave to withdraw. 19816, Council Amy Green, to install a berm for resident Sandra Zarek. By my way here. At 558 Milk Street to stop water damage to the property. That was approved 4-0. Council 19916, Council Mike Kushmarek and resident Steve Cristofano to repair and construct disability accessibility curbing at the crosswalk located in front of 15 Rollstone Street. That was granted 4-0. 21416, a hearing for Mobilite LLC. That was held. 21516, another petition by Mobilite LLC. That was held. 22416, Councilor Angelo Bezal to repair a berm at the corner of 339 Pearl Street and John Fitch Highway. That was granted 4-0. 23816, resident Linda Nicolopoulos and Councilor Mike Kushmarek to repair, repave a section of sidewalk on Pleasant Street between its intersections with Davis and Spring Street. That was held. And last, 23916, resident Joan Mickelson and Councilor Mike Kushmarek to remove a tree and resurface sidewalk in front of 202 High Street. That was granted 4-0.
Make a motion to accept the Public Works Committee oral report.
Second.
Second it.
I have a motion and second to accept the Public Works Committee report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimous. Motion carries. Recessed hearings. There's no objections from the council. We'll take 214 and 215-16 together. Declare the hearings resumed. 214-16, Mobility LLC to install backhaul transport equipment on a proposed utility pole on the right of way located north of the intersection of John Fitch Highway and Summer Street as outlined in the enclosed petition. 215-16, Mobility LLC to install backhaul transport equipment on proposed utility pole in the right of way located on South Street intersection of Wayland Street and Pierce Avenue as outlined in the enclosed petition. Councilors, you also received a communication from the petitioner asking for this hearing to be continued. After speaking with the city solicitor, just requesting that we continue this until the November 1st meeting to allow for enough time for the solicitor and petitioner to review legal documents.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and second to continue the hearing until November 1st. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are continued until November 1st. Orders, Finance, 24016, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $25,500, same to be credited to treasurer, parking garage capital expenses, and charged against parking meter garage receipts. And 24216, ordered that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $113,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to accounts as follows: $85,000 to fire capital department equipment and $28,000 to fire capital building improvements.
Finance.
Send those to Finance. Ordinance 24516. An ordinance to enact Chapter 72, Article 3, Section 6-9 of the City of Fitchburg, ordinance entitled Stretch Energy Code for the purpose of regulating the design and construction of buildings for effective use of energy pursuant to Appendix 115.AA of the Massachusetts Building Code, 780 CMR, the Stretch Code, including future additions, amendments, or modifications thereto, with an effective date of January 2nd, 2017, as outlined in the enclosed petition, reference petition 21916, first reading.
Moving to its first reading.
I have a motion and second to send 24516 to its first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Move to adjourn.
Unanimous.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. Just a quick announcement, councilors. I'd like to first thank our public safety departments, particularly the fire department, for their efforts last Monday, both at B.F. Brown for saving that, certainly the structure of the building and keeping the public and the neighboring properties from any further damage, and also for our neighboring communities who responded to mutual aid efforts on Cottage Street for a fire happening at the same time as B.F. Brown. We're certainly appreciative of those communities for their response. Along those same lines, I've heard from many questions from both councilors as well as members of the public about what happens next with B.F. Brown. I've requested from the mayor that when information is ready and there's when all of the facts and figures have been compiled, as well as engineers have had an opportunity to take a look at the building, we'll have a presentation about what options are or where we go from here. So this time there's no further information, but we'll certainly we'll have an opportunity at this council meeting as soon as more information is available. And Councilor Clark, you also have an announcement.
I just wanted to mention, you notice that Marcus is not here tonight, but Marcus and Sarah, congratulations on the birth of their child, John. And Grampy here, whatever he calls himself. What is it? Papa, Grampy? Go ahead, take your pick.
Nanu.
Nanu.
Nanu?
Nanu.
No Pepe?
Yeah, no.
Congratulations to the entire family.
Thank you.
Mayor DiNatale.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to take this opportunity to recognize Elizabeth Dobbins, our new reporter from the Sentinel Enterprise. Congratulations on your new position, and
Last round of applause.
welcome to the fray. I also want to thank Councilor Caddy and a host of individuals that helped put on the Oktoberfest at the Senior Center this Saturday, and it was great fun by everyone there. And someone I know won the hoisting contest or something. Is that what they call it? Yeah. Is he here tonight? Oh, that would be you. Oh, you were third place? Oh, your brother was first place. Oh, okay. It's a real Torigny event, huh? Okay. Reminder that the Holiday Decorating Committee will be hosting a pasta dinner on October 12th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Senior Center, and that's to raise funds for the holiday lights. Tickets are available at City Hall, Senior Center, and Historical Society. And Kelly Johnson as well. Okay. And I want to also thank the first responders, Chief Roy. These guys always do, and gals do a great job. And we had, 11 communities, Chief? Yeah, that responded. So we thank them all, and no one was hurt except for slight injury on one of our Leominster firefighters, and we wish him the best. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, councilors.